This is exercise 7.3, 3-lane to 4-lane with median transition. In this exercise, we will create a transition from a 3-lane to a 4-lane typical section using the transition tool. Then we will use a surface template to model what the transition tool does not create. So let's go ahead and open the Road2 TDT corridor DGN file located within the Chapter 7 subfolder. Once the file loads, make sure that we are in the multimodal view in the lower left corner. And notice there is a corridor with 3 different template drops. Let's first locate the area between the first 2 template drops, around station 140 plus 00 to 140 plus 85. And then open up the Create Transition tool, which is under Open Roads Modeling, Corridors, Create, Transitions. Select the 2 template drops in the 2D view. The 2D and 3D models will both render a transition. Notice that the pavement lines are not transitioning and the curb and sidewalk are not aligning with one of the templates correctly. To edit the transition, open the Edit Transition tool, which is under Open Roads Modeling, Corridors, Create, Transitions, and then select the transition handle. The Edit Transition window should open. Within this window, you can zoom in and out with the mouse and wheel and to see what points in the template have automatically been linked to one another. This will happen if the points in both templates have the same name. The bold crosses represent points that have not been linked. Right-click on one of the template ends and notice a Move Template prompt appears. This allows the selected template to move around within the window to see a better view of what is linking. Zoom in and right-click on any line and notice a Delete prompt appears. This is how you would delete a link between any 2 of the templates. For this exercise, do not delete any links that were already placed. To see what point is or what a link is linked to, hover over a point or a line and a text box will appear showing the description. Hover over some of the lines and notice that all the lines are connecting to points that have the same name. The recommended workflow for connecting points from one template to another is to work from left to right and bottom to top. It is not necessary to connect every point, but this enhances the ability to properly model a transition. To navigate the lines more easily, it is beneficial to align the templates vertically to each other by right-clicking and selecting the Move Template. To create a new line on the outside, connect the LNB5L bottom point on the 4-lane template to the EOP5L bottom point on the 3-lane template. To do this, select the LNB5L point, which is the bold crosshair, and then click the EOP5L bottom point to finish the connection. And note that only bold points will be able to be selected. So go ahead and repeat this process for the rest of the points above the line. Next, let's connect the CR Flowline 5LM point on the 4-lane template to the CL5 bottom point on the 3-lane template. And then repeat the process for the points above the line. So now the left side of the template has been updated with links. We'll now need to repeat the same steps for the right side. So now the final addition connection should be made in the 4 vertical areas here. So notice that there are several lines that are not connected, and the median has not been connected to anything. The median will be created later in this exercise. So go ahead and click OK, and a prompt should appear saying that for the transition to properly apply, constraints must be removed. Go ahead and press OK. So now a new Edit Transition Midpoint window now appears in the Edit Transition tool. And this allows you to view the cross-section of the transition and edit points in it. Notice at the bottom of the window there's a slider that you can use to move from the start to end of the transition. If you move the slider now, the template does not change because the points are all still constrained. Not all the points need to be unconstrained. Most are constrained to the point above it. Therefore, only the points at the top of the template need to have their constraints removed. Starting from the left, delete the constraints for SW back top L, then move towards the right across the top of the template. Right-click on the point and select Delete Both Constraints. And to help see which point you are selecting, check this box down here saying Display Point Names. So basically here, we just need to delete the red crosshairs at the top of the template. And once you delete the constraints, it turns green, and that's what we need. So the model will start to look pretty strange until all the points are unconstrained. But you can change the transition slider to end to help with this. So the unconstrained points turn green to help keep track. If in doubt, delete the constraint and the point will follow the link created in the last window. Now that all the points are unconstrained, move the slider from start to end and the template should adjust to create a median and the second lane in each direction. So go ahead and click OK, and the 2D and 3D models will update to fill in the lanes and align the curb and sidewalk. Next, let's go ahead and add a surface to the area that did not fill in from the transition, and add a median nose. Let's select the C and G flowline control feature definition under Linear, Roadway, Model Control 2D Plan, and Curb and Gutter, and set it as active. And let's make sure that we have the Create 3D Automatically toggled on. Open the Single Offset Partial tool. Create a partial offset from the center line of the corridor 7 feet to the outside of the roadway. From the start of the 4-lane section, which is around station 140 plus 85, to the end of the 4-lane section, around station 183.50. And do this on both sides of the center line. And to be sure you do this on both sides of the center line, make sure to check the mirror option here. Select both control lines that were just placed and open the properties. Within the properties, under the Profile by Projecting 3D Element Simple Slope Rule header, change the slope to -2%. Now open the Variable Offset Taper tool and select the center line. Set the start offset to 0 and the end offset to 7 feet. Set the start distance at the start of the transition, which is station 140 plus 00, and then snap to the flow line control for the end, which is station 140 plus 85. And then repeat this process for the opposite side. Then go ahead and select the tapers that were just placed and open the properties. Within the properties, under the Profile by Projecting 3D Element Simple Slope Rule, change the slope to -2%. Next, open the Line Between Points tool and connect the two tapers at the median. And now the median transition should be a closed shape. Then open the Create Terrain Model from Element tool under Open Rows Modeling, Terrain, and Create, and select the three lines that were just placed to make the closed shape in the median transition. Then within the Create Terrain Model from Element dialog box, let's set the feature type to break line, the edge method to none, the feature definition to civil cell, and the name to asphalt transition. Then left-click to accept the prompts. Then within the Explorer, right-click on Asphalt Transition Terrain that was just created. Under Open Rows Model, Terrain Models, Civil Cell, and then select Apply Surface Template. Select the Surface-4 Layer Template under Linear Template, Civil Cells, Surface, and then left-click through the prompts to accept. Then review the 3D model and notice that the median transition should now have a surface. Next, let's select the Curb Control Feature Definition under Roadway, Model Control 2D Plan, and Curb and Gutter. Open the Simple Arc tool under Open Rows Modeling, Geometry, Horizontal, Arcs, and Arcs Between Element. Select the Curb and Gutter Flowline Control bottom taper in the median transition, then select the Curb and Gutter Flowline Control top taper in the median transition. Snap to the end of the bottom taper to place the arc, and set the Trim Extend option to None. Now select the arc that was just placed and open the properties. Change the Quick Transition method to Linear under the Profile by 2 3D Element Transition Rule header. Next, open the Apply Linear Templates tool and select the arc. The Apply Linear Templates tool is under Open Rows Modeling, Model Detailing, and 3D Tools. Select the Median Curb and Gutter Linear Template under Linear Templates, Civil Cells, and Curb and Gutter, and select OK. In this dialog, select Lock to Start and End, and place the orange preview on the inside of the arc by moving the cursor to the left outside of the arc. Then left-click through the prompts to accept the placement, and notice that the linear template shows up in both the 2D and 3D view. Open the Line Between Points tool and draw a line from the inside edge of the linear template to the other, snapping to the arc, which is the CR back top RM. And be sure to use the key point snap. Then go ahead and open the profile view of the line that was just placed. Using the key point snap, draw a line from the left end of the horizontal purple dotted line and snap to the end of the blank area in the profile view. Before left-clicking to accept the snap to the end of the black area, tap through the inputs until you see the slope input and key in 4. This should lock the element into a 4% slope. Repeat this procedure starting at the right end and key in -4, this time for the slope. Now trace the positive 4% line starting from the left end and terminating at the intersection of the two 4% slope lines. Then trace the negative 4% line starting with a key snap to follow the elements just created that terminates at the intersection of the two 4% lines, and key snap to the right at the end of the 4% line. Lastly, let's complex those two elements together. Now let's go ahead and set the complex geometry to active. And we can go ahead and close out of our profile view. Next, we will create another terrain. Open the Create Terrain Model from Element tool. And let's turn off the Design Corridor Graphics Design and the Design Model Lines Curb Flow Line Levels to make it easier to select the two lines. And then select the curb lines with the new profile and select the CR back top RM line. Right-click to accept those two lines and make sure that the feature type is set to break line, the edge method is set to none, and the feature definition is set to civil cell. Name the terrain median nose and left-click to the prompts to accept. So once again, within the Explorer tab, right-click on the median nose terrain that was just created and select Apply Surface Template. Select the Surface-Concrete Miscellaneous template under Linear Templates, Civil Cells, Surface, and then left-click through the prompts to apply the surface template. And now we have a completed transition from 3-lane to 4 lanes with a median. And note that there is additional template drop transition exercises in Appendix B.1, which involves transitioning from a 4-lane with a median to a 3-lane. And this concludes exercise 7.3, 3-lane to 4-lane with median transition.